Hey, what's up, students? Today's reading is from John chapter 10. But before I read to you the verse that I want to share with you, I've got a story for you. So way back before the existence of refrigerators, people use what were called ice houses. Okay, so ice houses were these little like rooms that they built outside of their main house, and they had really thick walls, and they had a door that was really tightly fit into the opening. And what they would do is when it was winter, they would cut massive blocks of ice and they would store them in this really thick walled room called the ice house, and then they would cover them with sawdust because sawdust helped kind of insulate the ice so that it was able to last for as long as possible into the summer. And oftentimes ice would last well into the summer because it was so well insulated. And there's a story one time of this guy who was working in the ice house and he lost his watch. Okay, and he lost his watch while he was in the ice house, and he searched for it all over the place in the ice house, and he got his fellow workers to come in there and look for it. And as is often the case, I remember doing this when I was younger, as a young boy. One of the boys that lived in the on the property, he overheard the adults talking about how they had lost something, and he thought, I'll find this thing. And so he went into the ice house and he found the watch. And the adults asked him, how did you find the watch? And he said, well, I went into the ice house, I closed the door, I laid down in the sawdust, and I just got real quiet. And eventually I heard the tick, tick, tick of the watch as it counted down the seconds. And he was able to find it because he got real quiet and still and listened and heard the tick of the watch. Here in John chapter 10, Jesus says in verse 27, my sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. See, listen, students, the reality is God is at work all the time. And Jesus says that we'll recognize his voice if we listen. And so listen, as we're in this time where there's a lot going on, it's really easy to pay attention to a lot of different voices as we're scrolling through social media and we're interacting with our friends. I would encourage you, take a moment today to slow down, calm down, lay down in the sawdust like this boy did in the story, and listen, and I promise you will hear how the Lord is moving in the world around you, and you will hear the voice of Jesus. Jesus tells us he is constantly speaking to us, pursuing us, looking for us, wanting us to see him. But sometimes we just get caught up in the bustle of what's going on, much like the adults looking for the watch, just kind of fumbling around through the ice house looking for the watch. They didn't slow down and listen as the boy was able to do. And he was able to find the watch because he just calmed down and listened. And if we do the same, Jesus promises that we will hear his voice because we are in tune with his voice as his sheep. So take a moment today and do that. Love you guys, and I will be back Monday with another devotion. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace.